We've got 9 Am I the Devil Reddit stories for today's video. This was super requested by you guys in the comments. Am I the Devil is where Reddit collects the worst Reddit stories where OP is just evil and they throw it into Am I the Devil. Starting the video off hot with, I think I broke my wife. And the person that posted it just put, "You think?" But stick around for 8 more absolutely unreal stories, such as my sister disowned me because my husband said "your body, my choice" to her during a heated argument, and ending the video on Am I the a-hole for not paying for my girlfriend's haircut. Alrighty, chat, let's lock in here. I think I broke my wife on here because apparently this is the place to come when you need unsolicited advice from internet strangers. I, 28 male, have been married to my wife, 30 female, for a decade at this point. For the story's sake, let's just call my wife Mary. Fake name, of course. She's the light of my life. Everything she does it with such a sweet and giving heart. I really do wonder sometimes how I got so lucky when I look at her. Things have not been so great through this past year. It just seems like the two of us cannot catch a break. Mary had started to pull away little by little, becoming more and more distant with me when she started a new job last year. I knew she was stressed, constantly on edge about deadlines, projects, and trying to juggle our household. So I left well enough alone and let her deal with what she needed to deal with. So bro was just like, "Oh, my wife is really stressed and might need me to step up to the plate and help her out with some things. I'm just gonna leave her alone." Weird. As time progressed though, and she followed into the new year with this job, her mood started to deteriorate. She became more irritable, short, and to the point when we talked. If I asked her about her day, she would look at me as she dropped her bag on the counter and just say, "It was work," and walk off to the bathroom. I probably should have taken that as a red flag that her mental health was awful, but I didn't, and as I usually did, I left it alone. Around 4 months into the year, Mary had all but pulled away from me altogether. We were basically just roommates who lived and co-parented together. She would make plans with our daughter without me or ask if I wanted to come last minute. I could tell she was only asking because our daughter had asked if I was coming. She really didn't want me there. These trips, road trips, or fun excursions would usually end in us arguing though, and her getting mad. In May, she informed me she was taking a girls' trip with a coworker in August. This was something completely unheard of with her. She never made plans for just herself. And honestly, it pissed me off. To think she was going out of the country for the weekend was enough to set me off. And ignore her the week leading up to her leaving. I mean, by God, should a woman be able to go on a trip by herself? Like, oh, okay, all right. I knew this video was gonna hurt, but like, it's already hurting and we're like 4 minutes in. That weekend, I was left with the dogs and our daughter to take care of alone. When she came back, I was angry to say the least, but I think this was where I truly started this downhill chaos. She walked in with bags and bags of stuff, a huge smile on her face, and said, "I brought gifts." I let our daughter get her things Mary brought back and spend time with her before she ran off to her room to play. Mary pushed a bag across to me, smiled, and told me she didn't forget me, and how badly she needed to get away for the weekend. I snapped and threw the bag in the trash with everything in it. This is where I said something I know I'll never be able to take back. "You probably did nothing but cheat, and I don't want what a cheater buys me." Even as angry as I was, I watched the light in my wife's eyes die. There wasn't any anger, any sadness, any happiness. She just stood there, staring at me with this blank expression. I can't even say anything. I have to just laugh at this guy. Oh, hey, your wife finally has found something to build her happiness around, and then you just tore it apart and accused her of something that you had no evidence to back. But God forbid your wife did something that made her happy. Oh no. We didn't speak for a few weeks after that, but I could tell what I said had really affected her in a bad way. She wasn't eating, her hygiene was slipping, and she wasn't keeping up with the house anymore. That's when she walked in September with her head hung and told me she had lost her job. Apparently her mental health had taken such a downturn, her performance at work had fallen, and they had found a replacement for her position. I did what I could to help her get through it, and as selfish as it was, I was relieved. I thought I would get my wife back, and for about a month and a half I did. She was slowly coming back, smiling, laughing, talking with me. It was like the woman I had fallen in love with was back. I mean, I guess I'd have to know if her job was that bad, but bro, let's be honest. The job wasn't the reason why her mental health went in the toilet. It was you, dog. That was all you, bestie. That was until Monday evening. She came into the living room and sat down across from me. She looked angry, sad, a mix of just chaos. I was gaming and on my mic at the same time, so I just looked at her, waiting for her to say something. So this is where I knew I screwed up. Mary's birthday was about 3 weeks ago. We had discussed some things to do and she had given me some ideas of what she would like. It wasn't anything special or over the top. She just wanted to spend the day with me either at a spa or go out to eat and see a movie, while the nanny watched our daughter. Easy enough, right? Not for me. I didn't plan anything. And the morning of her birthday, she knew. Mary looked at me after we got home from dropping our daughter off at school, and I asked her what she wanted to do. Her face immediately fell, and she said nothing. I watched as she walked back to her bedroom, closed the door, and she slept the entire day. She didn't even want to spend the rest of the day with our daughter once she was home from school. Going back to Monday, she brought it up, asking why we were even married anymore if all I was going to do was gaslight her into thinking I cared, that I toyed with her, thinking we could actually salvage the relationship, that I had done nothing but shatter her heart again and again. This pissed me off, admittedly. I know I probably had a nasty look on my face when I said this, but I was so angry I told her, "You don't even know the meaning of that word. You're too stupid to know the meaning of that word, so just keep your mouth shut if you're going to be nothing but ignorant." She stood up and slapped me. I didn't do anything but watch in shock as she ran out of the room crying after that. Oh, brother, this guy stinks. Since then, all she does is cry, and I'm at a loss on how to fix this, if it can even be fixed. I'm sitting by myself in the damn living room thinking of everything throughout the years, as she's asleep in her daughter's room with her. The only thing she said to me since then was, "You accused me of cheating because I needed to breathe from stress and no help here at home for a weekend. Do you know how many horror stories I've read about husbands leaving their wives for women they game with? And you game all the time." That seems a little out of left field. I don't know. Maybe I am just jealous. Maybe I am wrong. Maybe she deserves better. Maybe, no, wait, hold on. Not maybe. She absolutely does, brother. She deserves better. Maybe I have neglected her for too long at this point. I just needed a place to spew all of this as my marriage crumbles around me. Some advice would be nice, I guess. Be fucking better. These stories always get me, bro. Every single time. Oh, I need some advice. Don't be a piece of shit. Help your wife around the house. Start doing nice things for her. Don't berate her when she goes on a girl's trip because she needs a break and accuse her of cheating. Like, it's literally that easy, chat. I think we're all on the same page. This man is evil, but this update goes dummy thick. Opie followed all that up with, I guess, an update and edit since I don't really know how to go about it on here. So some context here, so I don't seem like a completely emotionally absent husband and father. Oh, this should be so good. I work in chemical engineering, which is a very demanding job. My normal schedule can swing at any given moment, and normally I work anywhere between 60 to 80 hours a week. My wife works in finance, so her job has a more set schedule, 9 to 5, when she works. So she took on the majority of the household duties and cared for our child when we didn't need the nanny. It was just something we agreed to when we first got married, since she would have a more normal job in terms of schedule than I. Yes, emotionally, I am as ignorant as they come. I was raised in a broken home with very little affection. My mother had to work constantly to keep a roof over mine and my siblings' head. So it was focused on your education, not your social life, and that's what I did. Financially, I am secure because of that, and I am grateful for that. I don't have to worry, my family doesn't have to worry, and we have everything we need. I will never say I regret my education, but I will say I hate that it's costing me like it is now. I guess the best way of putting it is I'm a nerd in a lab coat who's an idiot with women. Yes, we do actually exist outside of shows and movies. I think like 80% of this has nothing to do with treating your wife like a piece of shit. Did he expect people to like hear this and be like, "Oh, it's okay that you treat your life like garbage because your mom didn't hug you enough. You just really had to focus on education. You can treat your wife like shit." Now, for those of you saying this is fake, unfortunately, it's not. Though I will say, I take it as a compliment to be accused of being ChatGPT. No, bro, you shouldn't. If people are like, "Oh, you're such a bad person, this can't be real," that means you are like bottom of the bucket evil. To the other, I'm an engineer, not an English major. I'm not a professional writer, obviously, and I was told by a coworker to come here for advice. This is not Mary, and I've read through the comments, personal messages, and damn, damn. Being honest, I really didn't think I was that bad, but I guess if you have the outpouring of anger I've gotten, I realized I really needed to take a moment to think about everything on Saturday, as the comments about what a piece of shit I am flooded in. So I sat down with my wife yesterday after I finally got her to settle down. The conversation was turbulent, to say the least, and I've come to realize I love my wife, but I'm not in love with my wife. Huh? I've come to realize I love my wife, but I'm not in love with my wife. What does that even mean? I'm pretty sure I actually resent her in some odd way. I don't even understand why. That was a heartbreaking thing to realize on both our parts, which I think just destroyed my wife further. I know she loves me, or she wouldn't have put up with half of what she has. I think that's what sucks the most out of all of this, is just watching as you keep hurting someone even when you just want to do better by them. I know I love her, but I can't bring myself to truly say I love her. Maybe it's just the comfortability after so long or something. I don't know, and I won't claim to know at this point. She's given me a home, not just a house, a beautiful little girl, and more love than I've ever known. I'm an a-hole, I know. Trust me, I know. And I know it's something wrong with me mentally, not her. My brain has left the chat, because what the hell is he saying? Hey man, whatever you gotta say to convince yourself, I guess. So I let her read through everything I posted with me after our talk, and I think the one comment that hurt the most from all of you though, and the one that stood out the most to her, was one that said, how you're showing your daughter she should be treated. Eye-opening to say the least. I wouldn't want her to be married to a man who ignored her and made her feel like she didn't deserve the world. I could see the hurt in Mary's eyes as she realized our daughter could end up in a loveless marriage because of our actions and think it's okay. A lot of tears shed yesterday evening on that one on both of our parts. So individual, couples, and family therapy is being scheduled before divorce is set in motion the next coming weeks. It's been quiet since then and I can't bring myself to look in the mirror. I'm disgusted with myself. I promised I wouldn't allow my child to grow up in a broken home or feel less than loved because that's all I ever knew. I watched my own mother end up in a loveless marriage, cheated on, divorced, and left with 4 kids to raise basically on her own. Now it just feels like I'm continuing my dad's legacy of family neglect and abandonment, just in a different way. I guess in some weird way, thank you Reddit, even with the hateful comments and messages, it was eye-opening to see different points of view. I'm taking it all with a grain of salt, and I'm going to do my best to try and at least make life easier for Mary and my daughter. Isn't taking it all with a grain of salt mean that you're not going to take it at all? Do I just not know this phrase? Regard something as exaggerated, believe only part of something. I hope he actually means that he's taking it seriously and just doesn't know what that means, but he either used it wrong or he's saying that Reddit did not actually help. I don't know. Work on fixing myself and my mental health, getting Mary the help she needs, and any help our daughter may need from all of this. Even if it means we end up divorced, I don't want them to ever struggle financially or emotionally because of me. And I don't want my daughter to ever think for 1 second I don't love her. Oh, there's a second update to this. All right, listen, chat. Am I glad that he seems to at least somewhat gotten an awakening? Yeah, good for him. Reddit knocked some sense into him. I don't understand this. I really do not understand how, like, he's acting like it's so hard to just treat your wife with love and respect. It's so easy to show someone you love them. Just do it? He's acting like you were asking him to like climb Mount Everest or some hard shit like that. It's like, bro, go get your wife some flowers. Tell her to take the day off and take care of your daughter. Like, is that too much to say, Chad? This shit should be easy, right? For someone who's a nerd, he sure is a dumbass. That's how I feel, Cree, but it is giving narcissism. Yeah, I guess that's probably the only explanation. Hey man, just like, don't think about yourself. Just think, oh, what'd make my wife happy? He's got to know enough about her to be like, oh, let's take her to her favorite restaurant, make her her favorite food, buy her favorite flowers. Like, it's not hard. Like, I don't understand these dudes who are like, oh, wee woo, I don't know how to fix this. Be better. We got a second update here. Mary and I went for our 2 therapy sessions this past week, and a lot has come out that I can't believe I was oblivious to. My wife has been struggling with depression and anxiety for years now. Apparently, PPD did a number on her after we had our daughter, and she never truly recovered from it. I didn't know, and that's my own fault. All right, okay, taking some accountability here. We like to see that. There were points in our conversation during the couple's counseling that really hit hard and hurt. I asked her why she pulled away like she did at one point once she had started working again. She showed me multiple texts, emails, and missed calls where she had reached out during the day, excited about the job when she had just started, and I never answered. So her point was I didn't seem like I cared to know what was going on. So she quit trying after the first few months of me not responding. I get it, I do. If I had to beg for attention the way she's had to the past few years, I would quit as well. I did finally break down and ask her about the trip. I felt like an idiot when she pulled her phone out and started showing me pictures she had took with her female coworker. Nothing but old architecture, museums, food, and art. Even going so far as to show me receipts for everything she bought, where she had been, and she did point out she had texted and tried calling multiple times while away. I was so angry at the time though, I had ignored her. Every call, every text, which admittedly I had forgotten about doing. Now looking back, I feel like shit about it because she told me she was just wanting to know during that time what all I would have wanted while she was away. Souvenirs, sweaters, shirts, model sets, basically everything I threw away that she had gotten me. We did discuss her never wanting me to go with her and our daughter, or what I felt was her not wanting me to come. She told me it was frustrating to invite someone out weeks in advance because she wasn't just taking our daughter to the park or something. She was planning to attend events, parades, festivals, etc. I admit I forgot about a lot of them and had forgotten to buy tickets. Hey, you down. Bad. This is the face of a bad boy. You know you're not supposed to be up there. I let you do everything in this apartment. Hey! Come here. I'm gonna put you down. Woo. You're gonna fall. Oh yeah, you're gonna fall. No, don't fall. Don't fall. We'll put you back down. Yeah. Okay. Wah, wah, wah. Oh! Yo, he's riled up. I should not be playing with him like this. Hold on, guys. Let me unrile him real quick. He's kind of in his scary area though right now, chat. Isn't it? Oh! Yo, he just yoinked that shit from me. Honestly, we needed this intermission after the shitty man. We're not even done with this shitty man. She was planning to attend events, parades, festivals, etc. I admit I forgot about a lot of them and had forgotten to buy tickets. This frustrated Mary to the point that she felt I wasn't actually interested in going anywhere with them because I was putting my gaming first. She took it upon herself to take a pic of me every hour one day while I was gaming, and I nearly vomited in the therapist's office. I had spent a total of 12 hours on my off day gaming. It was eye-opening, especially when Mary broke down in tears and stated this has been going on for years. That's when she dropped the bombshell on me. She found messages between me and a woman I game with online. She had printed the messages out in advance and sat them on the table in front of us. You've been having an emotional affair with this woman for years, she told me. This blindsided me, and in a panic, I walked out of our session. I realize it's better to talk to your spouse about issues and such, but it just came easier with the other woman. I know in the process I neglected and hurt my family, but I was too blind to see what I was doing. We don't have all the time in the world to break down that one, chat, but TLDR, what the hell, man? Like, oh... Yeah, I hope the wife leaves this guy. But also, not blaming the wife. If you know this guy's been emotionally cheating for years, why are you still with him? Oh, you're right. I'm on the wrong mic. Thank you guys. I appreciate y'all. Since then, things have been tense in the house. What I believe to be my happy, doting wife now likely hates me. Our daughter doesn't interact with me, and anytime I try, she just says I don't know what I'm doing and pushes me away. It's crazy everything built in 13 years is crumbling away. It hurts and I hate it, but it's my own damn doing. The thought of truly losing my family makes me physically sick, but I know there's no coming back from this. I mean, honestly, bro, like everything you've built in 13 years is this. It's not like you built something great in 13 years and now it's crumbling. It's like, bro, you've been a shitty husband and probably dad for the past 13 years. And now it's finally blowing up on you. I mean, bro got. Nothing much to it. The fact that your wife didn't leave you earlier is a miracle. If you are listening to this and you relate to that in any way, shape, or form, bro, leave. Have the self-respect to leave. That wife should have left years ago. I made a joke with my husband and it's costing me my marriage with a man I truly love. I need help fixing it. We have a 28 female OP and a 29 male husband. My husband and I have been married for 4 years now. I truly do love him with everything I have. I can't see a life without him. I took some stupid advice from some of my girlfriends regarding a joke that they have done with their husbands or boyfriend. The joke is basically telling your partner you want to break up or that you want a divorce. That is an insane joke. What about that is funny? There is no funny part to that at all. That is terrifying and evil. I never wanted to do it and thought it was cruel to do, especially to someone you love, but I was convinced after they kept pestering me about it, as I was the only one that hadn't done it yet out of the 5 of us. They further convinced me about it when they told me the reactions their partners had afterwards. Stupidly, I did it last week and my husband's reactions wasn't what I thought it would be. I honestly thought that he would try and talk to me or beg or make suggestions like my friends' partners have done, but he didn't. We had dinner and was watching a movie when I told him I'm not happy anymore and I think we should get a divorce. He looked at me for a couple of seconds and I swear it looked like something broke in his eyes. He got up, walked into our bedroom, and within 10 minutes came out with a bag and walked out of the house without saying a word to me. I tried to stop him, especially after seeing him with his bag packed, and told him it was just a joke and I didn't mean it. But he basically just brushed me off and walked out. I tried to get a hold of him, messages, calls, emails, video chats, but he isn't answering me at all. I talked to his friends, but none of them want to tell me where he is, when, and if they answer me. I went to his work, but they refused me entry into the building. I have tried his parents, but they don't want to get involved as well as with his siblings. The only messages I got back were from his sister, telling me, joke or not, I fucked up. I have sent too many messages about it being a joke, and I've even sent screenshots of my conversations with my girlfriends about the joke as proof that it was a joke, and that I'm not backtracking all of a sudden, but nothing. My friends didn't have any real advice and told me to give him time and that he will get over it. Everything came down on me yesterday when I was served with actual divorce papers. It felt like someone slapped me in the face and hit me and continued to hit me. I was and still am in so much pain. I frantically tried to get a hold of him, but all I got back was he has nothing to say and I should talk to his lawyer. How can I get the man I love back? I don't want to lose him. I made a stupid joke. I know that, and now it's breaking my world apart. Little edit they added is we have had no issue that I know of. We were laughing the whole time throughout the day, had fun and everything. No fight or distance recently between us. Nothing like that at all. Everything was basically perfect. Listen, does she deserve to be punished? Yes, 100%. Was the joke over the line and nobody should do it? Yes. This reaction sus. Chat, you guys will have to let me know if you agree with this. Maybe you don't. If my wife does this as a joke to me and I am truly in love with her, my reaction is anger. I don't think I would end the marriage from it. I think I would be like, why would you think that's funny? This is like end of the world for me. That's not funny. That's terrorizing me. But I don't think I would go and get a divorce. This might be terrible of me to say, but it kind of seems like bro was like waiting for that. Is that wrong to say, chat? Okay, Kat agrees with me. Bro is looking for an excuse, it sounds like. What awful friends, bro. Like if you got friends who are pulling shit like this on their partners, get rid of them. That is the worst joke I've ever heard of. Imagine he comes back and says, haha, just a joke. I support that. That would be hilarious, chat. My husband has been going to therapy to work on his temper and his therapist reported him to CPS. He's saying he'll no longer go to therapy because of this. How do I keep him engaged in the therapy needed to do the work? Oh dear God. We have a 40 female OP and a 40 male husband. So me and my husband have been together for about 10 years, married for 5 of them. We have 1 child, 3 male. My husband has always had a short fuse, argumentative, and had challenges managing his anger. It's taken me a long time to convince him to go into therapy. He agreed about a year ago to go. It became clear recently he wasn't being open and honest with his therapist, and I've continually pushed him to be open so he can address his issues. For reference, he's never hit or hurt me or my son. I'd call him more of a yeller, and the type that tries to avoid conflict by being loud. This isn't a good dynamic for the home, so I've been on him about talking to someone to help with managing this. In rare instances, he has thrown something, never at me or our son. None of these instances was recent, and I told him to be honest with his therapist to help him understand why this is his reaction and to work with him on healthier responses. He had his session this week and asked to increase his sessions. I was relieved that he was honest and knew enough to seek more than just the monthly sessions he had. However, today, CPS left a card on my door and wants to talk to me regarding concerning behavior with dad. Clearly, I know who made the report, and so does my husband. I've arranged to meet with them already, but the problem I'm facing is that my husband, who has been so distrustful of the system and very impacted by the stigma of it now, distrusts it even more. I'm also a bit angry because this specific incident wasn't even anything that would be reported. He threw my son's Play-Doh in the yard after my son played with it on the deck and was refusing to clean it up. I'm also a PhD clinician, so I'm very familiar with the system and very protective of mine and my son's safety and well-being. While my husband's temper is a current challenge, he has been committing to taking steps to work on it. I love him very much and I love our family. As long as he's committing to working on it and changing, I've agreed to be here for support. I've made it very clear to him that I will leave if things don't change because his temper and unpredictability are not healthy for our home. However, he's told me he's going to stop going to therapy because this is what happens when he's being honest in a session. Any advice on how to keep him engaged? I'm feeling a whole host of emotions, mostly sadness that someone seeking help gets reported for an anger outburst, reinforcing his distrust in the system, and convincing him to not be honest in his self-work. Also, that the therapist who has told him many times how they are a mandated reporter did not feel the need to tell him he disclosed something they felt obligated to report. I know not required, but I've always operated on the ethical principle with those I've treated. I feel like without his commitment to getting help working on this, our marriage will fail. Report that therapist? Yeah, that's what I'm thinking, guys. Like, listen, maybe OP is like dumbing it down or something like that, but I'm with you, Prince of Darkness. I'm actually thinking the therapist dropped the ball here. Is that what the comments are saying? Because like, that's just how I feel. Mandated reporter here. A CPS report would not be accepted by DSS for someone throwing Play-Doh in the yard. Something else is happening here. He must have admitted something very detrimental to have a report against him. Someone else mentioned, I don't understand why we are just assuming it was the therapist. It could have been anyone. A neighbor seems more likely to me if he's constantly yelling. It's not really useful to assume we know. Okay, this person is basically accusing OP of not telling us the whole story. Here's where my head's at. I think we don't have enough information here. Like, we don't actually know for sure if the therapist reported it. We don't know if the husband told something to the therapist that actually merited a report. I also do kind of agree with those commenters. Like, as much as I applaud OP maybe trying to stick with it, at a certain point, your priority does need to be your son, and getting yelled at constantly and seeing the behaviors of this dad are going to influence how he's raised and how he deals with conflict. And I just don't think this is a good space for your son to be in, with a dad that's just so angry and does things that, like, maybe it's not directly abusive, but it also could lead to abuse. If all this is true, the husband hasn't even touched the kid, I maybe do think the therapist crossed the line a little bit. My sister disowned me because my husband said, "Your body, my choice," to her during a heated argument. My husband, 36 male, and I, 34 female, have been married for 8 years. My sister, 31 female, has been my best friend for my entire life. We are really close. Last night, we went to my sister's house for a few drinks and snacks, something we do often. We were all drunk, so we inevitably started talking about politics. My sister freaked out when she realized my husband and I voted for Trump because she assumed we'd vote for Kamala. Things got heated and my husband ended up saying, "Your body, my choice," to her as a joke. I had seen the joke circulating online, so I knew what he was referencing and laughed. My husband and I are both pro-choice and it was just a joke. Okay, so OP is hopeless. Yep, we're done here. We already know the answer. Like, chat, it just gives like vibes. It's just creepy. That's not a joke. You're literally threatening sexual harassment on that person when you say that. My sister started screaming at us to leave after he said it. I tried calming her down by saying he was just joking, but she wouldn't listen. She asked me if I was okay with what he said, and I said yes, because he was only joking. He has dark humor, so he often says shocking things for laughs. She ended up physically pushing us out of her house and slammed the door in our faces. We called an Uber, and by the time we were home, I had received a long text from my sister. She said she never wants to see me or my husband again because of the joke he made. I was devastated because she is my sister who I love more than anything. I tried telling her that politics is not worth destroying our relationship. Yeah, but a joke implying is absolutely worth ruining your relationship. That's disgusting. I told her I'd never let anyone hurt her, and it was just a stupid joke that was circulating online. She said she will never feel safe in my husband's presence ever again, and that she will never see me the same. This is the first time my husband has ever said a joke like that to her, so she has no reason to feel unsafe around him. No, girl, that joke is the reason for her to feel unsafe around him. I think she misunderstood the joke and thought he was threatening violence when he was just making an abortion joke. I understand the joke was inappropriate, misogynistic, and disrespectful, but she is my sister, and you're just okay with the man that you're married to saying something that inappropriate, misogynistic, and disrespectful to your sister? Like, come on, come the fuck on. I mean, God forbid, if you think like this woman, you probably have zero self-respect. We literally could not spell it out anymore for you. Both of our parents are dead, so she is the only family I have left. I don't know what to do because we already apologized. She was also the one who started it when she started freaking out about us voting for Trump. She knows we are small business owners, so I thought she'd understand why we voted for Trump. We are just trying to make ends meet. We are not racist or sexist or any of the words she was spewing at us. No, 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 no. That is a very sexist thing to say. If this is how you view the world, you have got to be the most goddamn stupid person in the world. It must be euphoria to believe your world is this peaceful. Like, I wish I was this brain dead. I would be a much happier person. How do I get through to her that she's overreacting? We have no other family, just us. I know she'll regret ruining our relationship because of a stupid joke. Everyone was drunk, tension was high, but we love each other. Not after that one, sis. Bro, if anyone says that shit to my sibling, oh my God, I'd go to jail. I'd be one of those like jail live streamers, bro. Am I the a-hole for making my ex-wife pay me for a car seat? I, 38 male, split from my wife, 39 female, almost 3 months ago. We have 2 kids, and this post is about our son, 5 male. It wasn't the worst of breakups, but it definitely wasn't my choice too, and I hate how she went about it. We'd been struggling for a few years, and yeah, I admit I probably could have tried harder in couples therapy and stuff, but she basically up and left one day, saying she was tired of trying. Anyway, not to get too deep here, but basically I think the way she left was fucked up. This is relevant later. Oh no, don't you just hate it when a woman has self-respect for herself? Yeah, I probably could have tried more, but like, it's just so not cash money of her to leave like that. Since our son is so young, he still needs a car seat. When she left, she drove off with the car seat, leaving me without one for my son. I was pissed and wanted it back, but she said that since she still is the one doing all the school drop-offs and pickups, I was out of luck, and passing it back and forth all the time meant she couldn't set boundaries with me. Whatever. So I had to go buy a new one so that I could spend time with my son. But what I didn't know is that at the same time, she asked her sister, my sister-in-law, to give me her spare car seat. Her sister had a daughter who died unexpectedly a few years ago when she was about 4. But I had already bought one, so I ended up with 2 car seats after her sister dropped it off when I wasn't home. A couple weeks ago, my ex's car was broken into and everything was stolen, including the car seat she took. She texted me and asked me to drop off her niece's old car seat at our next handover. But I didn't think it was fair. She left me. She took the car seat. I didn't make her sister or her give me a free car seat. And now that her car seat was stolen, I didn't see why it was my problem. She also could have used her niece's old car seat when she first left, but she chose to take the one in the car. So I told her I would only bring it back if she paid me for it. Her sister gave it to me, so it's mine now, no one else. I told her she could buy it off me for $100. It costs way more than that on the market. Or she could buy another one on her own. She was pissed, but eventually sent me the money and I brought her the car seat. I thought this was fair and equal considering what she did, but my ex-sister-in-law, who I actually always liked and was sort of maintaining a relationship with, has stopped talking or texting me since this, saying that I'm out of line and that if her daughter were alive today, she'd be disappointed in me. I really don't think I did anything unfair and was just maintaining the boundaries my ex asked for. It's also extra fucked to me that a dead girl is being used to shame me when I did nothing wrong in the first place, and my ex is the one who got us here. Y'all, honestly, fuck these literal child adults. The real victims of this story are the kids, bro. I feel so bad for the kids, man. I cannot believe they have to deal with this absolute fuckery that is their parents. They did add a little edit here. Okay, I get it. I'm the a-hole in this case, but she left me. She did this to herself. She's forcing me to put in the same boundaries she's insisting on. I don't get why people can't see this. Only one guy at work seems to understand how fucked up she is. I love how he was like, oh, I'm the a-hole, but I'm actually not. Y'all, Am I the Devil takes it out of me. I'm not gonna lie. This shit hurts to read. I have to end the relationship with my son. How do I process this? We have a 44 male OP and an 18 male son. This is the hardest thing I have ever had to do in my life, and I hope no parent has to go through what I'm going through. My son and I used to be very close. My son came out to us 5 years ago, and my wife didn't take it well. My wife comes from a traditional country, and she's big on tradition. After that, she stopped speaking to him. That was our son, but I couldn't make her have a relationship with him. I love my wife, and she has a great relationship with our other 2 kids, but this brought a lot of tension in the house. She just ignored him and still doesn't speak to her. She didn't attend his high school graduation or anything. I won't say which one, but he got a scholarship and plays sports at one of the service academies. My wife didn't come to see him off or go to his first day. He's starting to cut me off and says I have to choose between him or my wife. I'm devastated, man. He said he resents me because I allowed her to treat him like this. I'm going to text him, and then OP quotes what he's going to text him. I love you, and this is the hardest thing I have had to do, but I am not choosing between you and your mother. I went to all your games, supported you, taught you how to play the bass. Anytime you needed me, I have been there and I still will be. Hey man, no you haven't. He needed you to be there for him when his own mother rejected him. He needed you to stand up to her and you didn't. Oh, but God forbid you taught him how to play the goddamn bass. Your mother did a lot of things, but she never tried to make me pick between the two of you. I will not pick between you two, and if you feel you cannot talk to me because of that, then I have to accept that. This really is hard because I love my son, but at least I take comfort that I did everything I could for him. No, you fucking did not. I raised a great kid, and now he attends the service academy. I know I was the best father I could be. No, you fucking weren't. I just gotta process this. Please tell me they're tearing him a fucking new one in the comments on this. You didn't protect your son. You chose your wife. He's better off without you. You married trash and you're happy with that. Says a lot about you. I'm so glad they're tearing him a new asshole in this. What's up, dude? I'm just jumping on to say my wife and I love your channel. We binge your videos. Keep it up. Lewis, I'm sorry. I don't know when you sent that in chat. Thank you so much. I'm glad you and your wife enjoy the videos. Oh my God. That's so sweet. Oh, I love that shit, bro. I'm glad people are enjoying the videos. I'm trying my darndest. I hate my wife and I hate my life. For years, I've tried to be a good husband and a good father. I've sacrificed almost every hobby, dream, and desire I ever had, throwing them all away for the sake of my family. I've even taken on jobs I despise, apartment renovations despite being an architect by trade, just to ensure my family is fed and sheltered. At one point, I even attempted to start a pig farm to sell pork, desperate to provide a stable income. And yet, the only sliver of happiness I have left is watching football and drinking beer with my friends. But even that is a crime, apparently. I'm judged for it, called selfish. Of course I'm selfish, right? Everything wrong in our lives is somehow my fault. The fact that we have 5 kids, despite not being able to afford them comfortably, my fault. The crushing stress of it all, my fault. One time, in a fit of anger, my wife told me that her cancer was my fault because stress can be a cause. I brushed it off at the time, but I will never forget it. Those words are burned into my memory. What kind of love makes someone say something like that? Deep down, I know she doesn't love me. In fact, I think she hates me. She's just too cowardly to say it outright. When you love someone, you forgive them even when they hurt you. You shift blame away from them, even when it might be deserved. But in my marriage, I'm always the scapegoat, always the villain. I get it. Life is exhausting, but I am exhausted too. I pay the bills, I keep food on the table, I deal with our loud, whiny, annoying children. I sacrifice every second of my free time, and what do I get in return? Guilt. If I spend a measly $60 on myself for a night out at a restaurant, I'm racked with guilt for days. I mean, bro, when you're talking about your kids like this, yeah, man, I hate to say it, but you might be kind of a dickhead. Actually, I don't hate to say it. You are a dickhead. But let's not pretend I'm perfect. I cheated on her once. One single time in 15 years. Wow, guys, round of applause for our boy. He only cheated once in 15 years. Give my boy a fucking trophy for that. Only once, chat. Thank you for your service, OP. I know it's wrong, but it happened because I was so profoundly unhappy in this family. And even then, I tried to make it up to her. I took her to Paris afterwards, hoping to reignite some spark between us. For a moment, she seemed excited, but soon she got bored of me and made new friends there. She spent more time with them than with me during the entire trip. That was when I realized she doesn't love me. She doesn't even like me. If you asked her to name one positive trait I have, she'd probably sit in silence, struggling to come up with an answer. But if you asked her what she dislikes about me, she could rant for hours. How I'm inattentive, uninteresting, selfish, phony, boring, untalented. Why am I wasting my one and only life living like this? Why should I be condemned to a lifetime of servitude to someone who doesn't even respect me? And yes, I know what people will say, you're irresponsible, but I don't care anymore. For once in my life, I want to be free. I want to be selfish. I want to stop being the perfect husband and father and just live for myself. This word, perfect, that might be the biggest stretch in all of human history. I mean, my bad, chat. The perfect husband only cheats on their wife once in 15 years. Only once, of course. I want to disappear for weekends of fishing, spend my paycheck on football games and beer, and cheat without a shred of remorse. I don't do these things now, not because I'm a good person, but because I ain't got the balls to do it. I'm tired of pretending. The truth is, I don't love my wife. I don't even like her. The sex is bad. The relationship is worse. We don't share interests, values, or even a sense of humor. I can't remember a single moment in our 15 years of marriage when we were truly in sync. I wanted passion. I wanted love. Instead, I got this hollow, lifeless existence. She's not even a bad person. She's an okay mom and a better friend, but she's not my person. Then why the fuck did you marry her? Hey man, I don't know how to tell you this, but like, this is all you, bro. It's not like someone came down and was like, oh, hey, by the way, bro, you gotta live this life. This was all your choices. You could have pulled out 5 times. You didn't. You had 5 kids. Oh shit, chat. Hold on. I'm getting spammed on something. Give me a second. Even the little things grate on me. I despise her cooking, but can't bring myself to say it. I've silently endured 15 years of bland meals just to avoid her inevitable fits if I dare to complain. 15 years. Is this a life sentence? When does it end? How long do I have to keep up the charade? I am so miserable. You can't dig yourself into a 15-year hole and be like, oh, wee woo. My life is so hard and I don't like it. You did this. Every choice here was your own. Chat, am I the a-hole for enduring the consequences of my own actions? Like, oh, these are so funny, chat. Just the most awful human beings, bro. Am I the a-hole for taking a little time to myself in the mornings? My wife, 30 female, Laura, and I, 35 male, have 2 children, ages 2 and 3.5, and have been married for 5 years. Laura is a stay-at-home mom to our boys and takes the boys 3 days a week to take care of her grandmother who has dementia. The other 4 days, a nurse comes in. I work in retail management. My typical schedule is 1 p.m. to 10 p.m. with an hour lunch if I choose to take it. I live about 45 minutes from my job and I like to head out a bit early, get a coffee and quick bite, and send some emails from a cafe before walking into work. This means I typically leave the house between 8:30 to 9 a.m. in the mornings. After work, I'm often frustrated, so I stop by the 24-hour gym I'm a member at and run on the treadmill or lift weights for a bit. This puts me getting home at 12 or just after. On weekends, I often have things planned with family or friends that tend to use up a portion of my day. Chat, I'm all about having free time. That being said, like, bro is practically not even home. If you're gone from 8:30 a.m. to like midnight every day, you're literally just using your home and your family as a hotel. Laura is telling me I need to stick around to help her more in the mornings. She's insisting my routine isn't all that important and I'm making her feel like a single mom. From my perspective, I enjoy my routine. I get some peace and quiet, and it's a nice way for me to prepare for and end my day. Laura wanted me to be at home until she either leaves with the boys to her grandmother's or until it's closer to noon. If I did that, I'd completely miss being able to go to the cafe and deal with emails while I mentally prepare myself for the day. She doesn't mind me going to the gym so much as she's usually asleep by the time I get home. I've offered to ask my sister or mom to come over and help her in the mornings a day or 2 a week, but she rejected that idea. I feel like I've offered a compromise of sorts, but Laura tells me I haven't. You can't compromise the fact that you are just an absent father. Like, yeah, I tried to compromise and just replace myself. Like, you might as well just not be there. Also, I don't understand this whole deal with emails before work. Deal with the emails at work. You picking up what I'm putting down? Like, we get these dumb mails that we read about on these streams, and I'm just like, am I gonna become this dumb? I pray to God I never become this so not self-aware. Am I the a-hole for not paying for my girlfriend's haircut? And the person that threw this in r/AmITheDevil did preface that there is a happy ending. Before we get into the last story, if you've gotten this far in the video, I'm guessing you're enjoying it, and if you want to enjoy all my future uploads, make sure to hit that subscribe button so that you don't miss any videos in the future. Also, if you'd like to be here live for those Reddit reads, go and check out my Twitch. Link should be in the description. I usually go live every Thursday and Sunday reading Reddit stories from Am I the A-hole and Best of Redditor updates. Join us for those lives and even get a chance to be featured in videos just like this one. My girlfriend, 32 female, and I, 38 male, have been together for 2 years. I lost my job about 3 months into our relationship. During this time, she really came through for me and helped out a lot. I did not have a car, so she would help me deliver orders on DoorDash and Grubhub so I could pay my bills. She also covered the difference out of her pocket if I was running short. To say I'm grateful to her is an understatement. I finally found a new job 2 months ago. I'm saving up for a car, so she's been letting me borrow hers. She's accrued some debt while I was out of a job, and I have repaid about half of that. However, I'm worried that she's starting to only want me for my money. Who was the leech here? Maybe I shouldn't say leech. That's not nice. I get it. Sometimes your partner does have to cover for you because that's just how it goes. He lost his job 3 months into the relationship. So you're telling me she's been supporting you for almost pretty much your entire relationship, but God forbid you give her a little bit of money. We got into an argument over the weekend because she called to ask me if she could borrow some money to get a haircut. Apparently, she is running short due to an expected home repair cost, but already paid the hairdresser a deposit that she would have to forfeit if she rescheduled it. I had a long day at work and was exhausted both mentally and physically. So when I noticed that my phone was ringing, I was really excited to see her name. But after I answered and she immediately asked me for money, I felt crushed because she did it without even asking how my day was first. I told her that I guess I understand what my new role is in her life now, and she threw a huge fit about it. Bro, what? I mean, bro isn't even completely out of debt yet. He's only repaid half of his debt, and he has this mentality. She claims that she gave me her everything for a year and a half just to keep a roof over my head, and that she's accrued debt from when I wasn't working, so I shouldn't be so opposed to doing her a favor. I recently bought her car a new set of tires and got the brake pads replaced, as well as gave her some money to repay the debts with. I also have paid for the car payment and insurance since I started working because I have it at my place more than she does while I save up to buy my own. So it's not like I don't contribute to her expenses already. She keeps guilt tripping me because a haircut is a small ask considering everything I've done for you, which feels very controlling. Is it controlling or is it the truth? Now she won't talk to me and I'm scared that she's going to break up with me without even hearing me out. I hated taking her money while I was jobless and that I have to use her car now. I didn't want to do it in the first place. Anytime I needed her to pay for something, it was because it was an important expense like my rent or power. So the way she is asking for something unnecessary like a haircut just feels like a slap in the face. And then the happy ending is just a quick little edit that says, she didn't talk to me for 3 days and then she dumped me. I mean, well deserved. How unaware do you have to be to not only think like this, but then write a Reddit post about it? No, bro, these people totally agree with me.